I'm here at the East Bay Regional Park System, just east of San Francisco Bay. I spent many a day here, day hiking and preparing for my Pacific Crest Trail hike, doing these trails. Today I want to talk to you about some things that I've learned about thing that I learned is that you have to have a purpose. I had to decide why I'm doing this day hike. It's not the same as a through hike, of course, but you still have to decide the purpose of why you're out here and what you're doing. Are you just out to get some exercise? If you are, then push yourself. Don't just leisurely just walk down the road. Just push yourself and do a little bit more than you think you can do. Unless you're sweating, is really not doing any good. Get out there and push yourself and sweat, or as you ladies say, glisten. You taking a day hike just to enjoy nature? Man, take a camera along with you and record your journey as you go. You never know when you might see something that you'd like to record. So if you're day hiking just to enjoy nature, stop and smell the roses or whatever other flowers there are out there. Perhaps maybe you're training for a through hike like I did on the Pacific Crest Trail. Many a day and into the night, I walk these trails that I'm walking right now, and just preparing and keeping in mind the things that I was probably going to have to face out on the Pacific Crest Trail. Now, if you're training for a through hike on a day hike, while you're taking a day hike, then make sure that a lot of the conditions that you're going to be facing on your through hike are the same conditions that you're doing a day hike in. For example, if it's raining outside, don't shun hiking and doing a day hike in the rain. Get out there, because let me tell you something, you're going to hike in the rain. If it's hot outside, get out there, because you're going to have to face the same conditions if you're doing a through hike, especially on the Pacific Crest Trail in the desert section. If you're preparing for a long distance trail, make sure that you've got some elevation gain on your day hike, because again, you're going to face that when you get out, especially on the Pacific Crest Trail. They say that the elevation gain on the Pacific Crest Trail is equal to climbing Mount Everest 17 times. If you live someplace like Florida, where probably the highest mountain there is maybe like 200 feet above sea level, it's going to be kind of difficult to take a day hike with the conditions that are going to be similar on a through hike. My suggestion would be to go to the gym and do a lot of stair steppers. Again, along the same line as preparing for a through hike, while on a day hike, check out your gear as you day hike. I have everything that I did my PCT hike with on my backpack, and that's the way that I train. That's what I did when I took a day hike, is I put everything that I was going to take on my PCT journey, and I put it in my backpack and did a day hike. Obviously, you can't try out your tent and your sleeping equipment on a day hike, but you can wear the same shirt, hat, shorts, shoes, almost everything else that you would be taking a through hike on. through hike in on your day hike. My backpack that I carry on a day hike weighs the same that it did on my through hike at the PCT. In order to simulate 4 or 5 days worth of food, I've got 10 pounds of books in my backpack. I also have about 2 liters of water as well. So about 25 pounds is on my back when I take a day hike, again preparing for a through hike. Also on my day hikes, I can find out how much or how fast I can hike, which is very, very helpful when you're out on a through hike. It's very helpful on a through hike to figure out how far you've got to go to a water source or a campground or whatever by multiplying the miles per hour that you normally hike times the distance that you have to travel to get to that water source or a trail town or whatever. You can download any number of apps on your phone to figure out how fast and how many miles per hour that you hike, which again is helpful. On a day hike, I also learned the nuances of my body. In other words, I learned a little bit more about what my body could take on a through hike. I learned how long I could hike before I had to stop and take a break, and especially to take my pack off. I learned what it felt like when I started getting a blister on my foot. So I had to stop and either put a Band-Aid or Leukotape or whatever on that hot spot. When I first started preparing for my through hike at the PCT and doing day hikes here in Wildcat Canyon and around in the East Bay area, I had the worst case of plantar fasciitis that I think anybody could have. I learned what to do to prevent it from happening, and then if it did happen on the through hike, then I learned what to do to correct it. I also pulled my IT band, and oh my goodness, I thought I was gonna die. And so I'm glad I got all those things taken care of before I even attempted my PCT through hike. If you don't have a park or a wilderness or national forest near you where you can take a day hike, then just get out on the streets and walk the streets. Be careful now, be careful for cars. I learned that the best way to prepare for a through hike is just to get out and hike. All a day hike is a sample of what you're going to face on a day while you're doing a through hike. So what are some things that you have learned about doing a day hike? Leave a comment in the comment section below. If you have any questions, please be sure. Whew, I'm beat. If you have any questions, leave those questions in the comment section below, and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. Until then, I'll see you down the trail.